Hi, Kres. Thank you so much for being with us. So, a dead heat in swimming is not supposed to happen.
Yeah, you're right. You have to applaud what these two girls did, but it's not unprecedented. The first time this happened was in 1984. Two women finished with a dead heat, and that was the first time a double gold was awarded on the Olympic stage. And when you consider the competition in the pool with this young American and Canadian, they had the world record holder, Kate Campbell, was in the water with them. So the competition was fierce, and, it's great. But you mentioned a hundredths of a second. To be honest, the spirit of the Olympics wants to see an ultimate winner. The podium has 1, 2, 3 for a reason, and I would argue that in 2016 they could advance technology to maybe 1,000th of a second, and maybe award a true winner. But nonetheless, you have to award the accomplishment of these two young women in the water.
One of those two young women we said is Simone Manuel. Talk about her achievement as being the first African-American woman to win an individual Olympic gold.
Well, I'll just touch on comments that Manuel said herself. Now, she talked about the burden she felt she carried on her shoulders representing the entire African-American community. Given the circumstances socially, some could argue there's a lot of injustice happening in the United States. And she believed that her success could give hope to spark interest, galvanize more participation for the African-American community in the sport of swimming. And she is part of a very small, exclusive group. She is the third African-American to win a gold medal in the Olympics. On the male side of things, Anthony Irving won gold back in 2000. Cullen Jones won gold in 2008 and 2012. And their whole goal as part of this small community is to really motivate and encourage more participation among the African-American community.
What is the reason behind the fact that the group of African-American swimmers is so small?
Well, there is an urban myth that African-Americans just can't swim, but I would argue access and availability to a swimming pool is a large part to that, because in a lot of African-American communities, they're densely populated, and the reality is they're just closer to a basketball court than they are an actual swimming pool. And then generations, when your grandparents can't swim, it's likely that your children and then the grandchildren, of course, can't swim as well. But me, being African-American, I was fortunate. My father was in the Navy. I do know how to swim, but this smaller number leads to fewer swimmers on the competitive stage in college and then ultimately the Olympics, but hopefully that can increase.